Hey, crotch rot. I'm gonna slurp my lifer's juice out of my own cup.
Yeah, I guess I should have gotten shots beforehand.
Anything else, General?
No, that's fine.
What are all those medals?
I'll never tell. At least not while the sun's shining.
Yes. Not while the sun is shining. Or where the sun is shining.
Oh.
Being clever does not denote intelligence. I always remind people. I'm actually kind of excited. A friend of mine, his film was just released on Amazon. I'm going to be checking it out this week. After watching it, I'm planning to have him on Friday.
Cool.
To interview him. It's kind of cool. His film is available on Amazon Prime. It's called Look Into the Fire. And you can watch it for free if you have a Prime account. So, Look Into the Fire. Very curious what kind of film he made. So, I'll be checking it out and then inviting him on the show.
That's cool.
I am trying. I think it's called Fairfield Milk. It's a milk that is produced with half the sugar.
You mean Fairlight?
Fairlight, that's it.
Yeah.
Fairlight. Yeah. I'm trying that because the fat doesn't bother me unless it's whole cream. I can have problems with that, like sour cream in particular will kick my guts. But I can actually use whole whipping cream. It doesn't bother me. But I'm trying this stuff out, and I haven't had a reaction to it. I've drank it for 2 days. Nothing.
That's good.
And it's not causing me to spike either on my sugar. So proof, again, that they don't have to have as much sugar in milk as they do.
No.
And that includes skim milk. In fact, I noticed on some, we call it brand. I don't know what to call it. On their skim milk, one of them, it's produced right here in Springfield, Missouri, Highland, has more sugar in the skim milk than it does in the whole milk.
That's weird.
I know. I noticed in one of your comments that you're not going to be available for Wednesday. Are you talking to us?
Oh, no, that was on State of the Atmosphere, wasn't it? Or did I put it wrong?
Oh, I just saw it real quick, and I wasn't sure what that was in reference to.
Yeah, I got my niece's softball game when we normally do State of the Atmosphere. It's at 6, so there's only 4 games left of the season, so I want to make sure I go to all of them.
How's your team doing?
Not winning.
Okay, that's not a good sign. Well, they're crap.
Well, they're still playing.
The problem, they're not crap.
Confidence, John.
They're not crap. The problem is there's one team that when the teams were formed, because of who the coach was, it got stacked. So he got basically all the best players.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I hate shit like that. I consider that shit unsportsmanlike to do that, stacking your team, especially when you're in a small. I'm assuming it's not a big town, right?
20,000.
Oh, well, that's still kind of small.
Yeah, it's not big, but it's not small either.
So, how many teams are there, and what position does your niece play?
Well, she's they rotate out the positions, but she's like catcher and she's also in the outfield.
She's short,
when
isn't she?
No, she's tall.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, all the catchers I ever knew were always short. That's interesting. Did you play ball?
I played Little League.
Baseball. Okay.
Yeah. And,
I played,
football and I wrestled.
Yeah, I played all the way through Babe Ruth. Then after high school, I played a season farm league in Fredericksburg. And that was like, I tried out, made the team. I was 88, I think, 88. And then joined the Army. Fast pitch softball is awesome. Because like slow pitch softball is just, I don't know. I hate saying this. I'm sure someone will take offense to it. It's kind of a pansy game.
She's 10.
No, for boys.
Yeah.
Girls, I think it's a great sport.
No, in Venezuela, we use it as an excuse to drink.
Yeah. Drink. She swung. Drink.
No, the softball. How it requires less sharpness in the moment. Is okay for just drinking beer. At the end of the game, nobody knows who won.
Let's see. Who's all in the chat, by the way? We got FKH. I'm sorry, Tim.
Tim?
We got Penny. We got Andy Morrow, who doesn't know shit about baseball or softball, but knows cricket. Let's see. Christian Delorme is here. Good morning. Bonjour. Bonjour. Let's see. Real Wade Nation Gaming is here. And Joe's Atmosphere. And don't you ever stop doing your show, Real Wade. Don't. You're absurd if you do, mister. You are absurd if you ever stop. And Blair to Blair is here. What is that logo? Oh, it's a knight's helmet with elk antlers or deer antlers?
Yeah, it's deer antlers.
Unless you came on another name, that's a new name to me. So good morning and welcome to the show. I, of course, want to say good morning to our KGRA audience who is listening through either the app or through the website, possibly even Facebook. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. And, of course, I want to say good morning to our producer, Bill, who is hiding behind the scenes. What is that about German just disappears?
Oh, at the beginning of the movie when Rommel is even...
Oh, that is so weird. I pointed that out to Anima, that what they were trying to do was cut to a different angle of the ocean.
Yes, but it was the same angle.
The exact same angle. So it looks like he's like talking and then goes bloop, and then blip back in. He's like the Great Gazoo from Flintstones. Look, there is several shots in that film that I wonder sometimes why they shot it that way, using what they called blue screen back in '62, which I'm not sure if it was a blue screen or what. The film was released at a time when most films were in color, but they felt black and white was better. And I actually got to agree. It felt like a better film for being in black and white. They actually managed to do some fascinating things with the film, but there are some bad shots in that film, like when the Germans are talking at the beginning of the film. Clearly not on the set. I mean, not on location. They're on a set. And they blue screened it in. The blipping in and out of the German general is really bad. There are several other scenes, but the other one that really pokes its glaring, ugly head out is when Mitchum's boat starts to leave the ship. It's clear blue screen. Why they didn't use rear screen projection, I don't know.
Money issue?
I don't know. No. The head of the studio was who produced that.
Oh.
Daryl Zanuck. And by the way, what?
Look at the cast, John. They did not have money problems.
At that moment, that would have been cutting edge tech, so I assume they'll maybe experimenting, like the Clue face in Tron.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be. No, they were quite adept at using rear screen projection since really the 30s. And I just don't know why they opted for optical effect than just using rear screen projection and shoot the scene so it looked more believable. Now, we all know that front screen projection looks more realistic. That's what they used in Superman.
Yeah.
For a lot of the flying scenes. And even though you can catch it, it still looks really good for 1978. But I brought up Darryl F. Zanuck, of course. He did not direct the movie. He was the executive producer, and he was an executive there at the studio. But discovered something last night when I was explaining things to Anima, because she swore up and down that Irina Demick, who plays the French underground girl in the film, riding a bicycle that was really pretty and really nice rack on her bicycle, and on her chest. And
how to unsave a save.
Yeah, I know how to unsave the save on her bicycle and on her chest. Irina, she thought it was a fake French accent, and I went, no, she's French.
It sounded like an American accent when she spoke French. It was
she sounded like
weird.
an American doing a French, yeah, but she's French, and she was a discovery of Darryl F. Zanuck, who is also, let me read this correctly, banging the living shit out of her.
Which is why she's in the movie.
But I got to tell you, she's gorgeous and she's a good actor. She did her scenes very well. But she was the discovery of Darryl F. Zanuck. So she is gorgeous, by the way. I don't know if you know what she looks like. Here she is. I'll go ahead and share my screen. You'll see her in the slideshow too, but this is her. And that's these two shots here. This from that's from the movie. What's that?
No. I was saying just that it's from the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, she's in another film about the invasion called Over the Bridge with I just forgot his name. Cliff Robertson, that played Peter Parker's uncle in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. And she's just a really good-looking woman discovered by an executive producer while shooting another film.
Yeah.
Asked her out on a date and then made her a star.
By the way, before we continue,
she would have been a victim by today's standards.
Yeah. I was going to say, you can't get away with that today.
We have a breach by none other than WWII Nation.
Yes, backdoor baseball. That would be just fart ball. Oh wait, am I being a catcher?
Berries.
Am I a pitcher or a catcher with the back door?
Let's not go there, please.
No, it's too late. We went there. Sorry, it's way too late. And of course we're in the wrong studio.
And this, guys, is why I'm the only girl on this channel, because none of the other would have this shit.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me find. Here you go. I'll give you this one. I haven't played this in a while.
Open your back door, baby. Loosen your hinges. I'll show you my key.
So,
one of my favorites.
Yep. I'm looking forward to the new season of Vox Machina. We don't have long to wait.
January.
Oh, is it that far? I thought we were getting it fall. Oh, that's
long.
That's like 6 months.
Are we getting anything else this year?
Aren't we getting a new season of Invincible?
Series, I mean?
No, Invincible. I think that's.
I think it's next year.
God damn, man! 2023 sucks.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell that from the movies?
It's like, I suppose we're going to get more of The Boys.
Yeah, we'll get season 4 of The Boys probably this fall.
Oh boy, I'm excited about The Boys.
I like The Boys.
Season 1 was awesome.
Yeah, it didn't get better.
Let's see. Some other stuff I enjoyed about it is Peter Lawford is in the film. It's not a major role, But Peter Lawford, this is getting close to the time when he was no longer a member of the Rat Pack.
Yeah.
When this movie got made, he was a member of the Rat Pack with Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., Joey Bishop, and
Dean Martin.
Dean Martin. And of course, the head of the gang was Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
And what happened was Peter Lawford, of course, was married into the Kennedys. So he was Sinatra's inside man with Kennedy, and got friendly and cozy with John F. Kennedy as well as Bobby. But something happened, and it's because of his personal relationship with mobster Sam Giancana. Things cooled off quickly during the process of running for president. And Sinatra had built a helipad on his property for Sinatra's helicopter for Kennedy's helicopter to land. And at the last minute, Bobby warned his brother John that Frank's relationship with Giancana could hurt him in the election. So he canceled his trip and is going to be staying on the estate with Sinatra, canceled, and went to go stay with Bing Crosby. And Sinatra, it's in the movie, the Rat Pack movie. They show it.
Yeah.
He lost his shit. Went out with a sledgehammer to destroy the landing pad that he had built. I'm certain he was kind of I don't picture him being able to get too far into it, before physically giving up on that. Remember, the guy was 4F for serving in the military. And so I'm sure he didn't get very far. But the outcome of it was he kicked Peter Lawford out of the Rat Pack.
Yep.
And he never spoke. And, Lawford's marriage ended with the Kennedy, and he drank himself to fucking death, always begging Frank to forgive him and let him back in like he did something. And that's just a reminder of what a shitheel Sinatra could be.
Yeah.
Because John Wayne was kind of the same way. But there was one funny thing I will say from this is his verbal response, Sinatra's verbal response, he went, "Crosby, the son of a bitch is a Republican, for God's sake." He got really angry about that. I'm a Democrat. But poor Peter Lawford. Like I said, he drank himself to death. And this is really one of Peter Lawford's last real roles before his career went to crap.
Yeah, there's a lot of big names in this.
No, that's pretty much what the film is. In fact, they introduced, I posted about it today, Teddy Roosevelt Jr. died today.
Yeah.
On D-Day +6. That's what today is, D-Day +6. He died of a heart attack in Normandy after surviving Utah Beach. That guy went in with a cane because he had severe arthritis. And he still went on the landing, even though they gave him multiple opportunities not to go. And then once they got the beaches under control, he went in country because they were supposed to hook up with the airborne, 82nd and 101st. And he had a heart attack, massive heart attack, dying in Normandy on June 12th, 1944. And, of course, Henry Fonda plays him in the movie for 2 scenes. The guy who I think spent more time on camera in his character, 2 of them, Robert Mitchum and Eddie Albert. And Eddie Albert and Mitchum are both World War II vets.
Yeah.
I like that so many of the cast, even on the German side and the British side, were a lot of them veterans. Richard Burton was one of the few who wasn't a veteran. He plays a Royal Air Force pilot who gets shot down in Normandy. But you had some great actors in there, including the German cast. In fact, one of the German actors, I forget his name. Hold on. What was it? Not when I see him. I've got the list here.
Paul Hartman?
No. Goodness gracious. Kurt Jürgens. He plays Major General Gunther.
Yeah. Gunther.
One of the best characters in the film. Oh, here it is. Hans Christian Bleck, who played Major Hans Christian Bleck plays Major Werner, and I can't remember his last name, but
Holzcat.
he has scars on his face, which were reported to have been given to him during battles against the Russians on the Eastern Front during World War II. But he had a great cast, and I loved how Anima goes, the Germans always overact.
Well,
And I'm like,
they do, but then they're supposed to in those roles, kind of.
yeah, like the pilot is just irritable all the time. The German pilot with the Luftwaffe, he's like yelling all the time in German, just yelling. But then when he gets off the phone, he's always on the phone yelling. And then when he gets off the phone, he's like talking to his friend. Well, I guess we die today.
Well, the Germans have the one big issue that Hitler took a sleeping pill and is not to be woken up.
Well, they really pushed that home, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
That, the Germans really feel they would have possibly won the battles on D-Day if they had been given the orders for panzers, but they couldn't get the orders without confirmation from Hitler, and Hitler gave the order not to wake him up from his sleep.
Yeah, he was hiding in his bunker. Fucking coward.
Yeah.
But I really want to say, since this movie covers D-Day from the Allied perspective as well as from the German ones, and you see French people too, and they use native speakers, and I love it when movies do that.
I will also point out that, again, Hollywood had a tendency of whitewashing history sometimes. And there were far more Vichy French than that. The movie didn't even show any.
Yeah.
And in fact, on D-Day, there were French who killed and fired upon Americans and allies. And that's a fact. And they left it out. And it's always bothered me that they did that.
The movie is 3 hours long, though, so.
Well, and it's done, like, if it was a mini-series, I think it would have been better. The Longest Day would have been an amazing, and been the first mini-series ever made.
Then we might have a problem then, because the slideshow is only 55 minutes.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Look, it's a movie. I didn't even worry about subtitles, to be honest with you.
For real, I open it and it says 30 minutes.
What?
It's 55 minutes.
Oh,
how can it be so short? I was worried about.
That's what she said.
Let's not make fun of people for their height. Anima, making fun of people for their height. The movie can't help that it's short.
Yeah, I'm representing the vertically challenged.
Yeah, she's
people.
Challenged. I want to do a whole series when she moves here to the United States called Anima in My Pocket.
Oh my god.
They just have like a doll like this, and then cut to Anima talking, and then cut back to the doll right here in my pocket. Look, it's her.
You have
I know,
weird ideas sometimes.
I do. I grew up on weird shows as a kid, Monty Python, stuff like that. A lot of the British humor.
Yeah, it did some damage to you.
Yeah, if you want to call it damage. But who else is here? Everybody's here? Yeah, everybody's here, so we're good. I don't have anybody new popping in. Dragon Ruse is here. There we go. Of course, Joe's Atmosphere is here.
Yeah.
Joe's not joining us, I assume?
No, he's not able to join us.
He what?
He's not able to join us today.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me.
Alex Moore is here.
He's bleaching his anus.
Why?
He's getting a Brazilian.
I stopped asking that about him long
John,
ago.
that is why Anima and I use avatars.
Oh my gosh. By the way, anybody in the Springfield, Missouri area within 50 to even 100 miles, my buddy Travis found a puppy, and it's adorable. I told him, I said, you should keep this doggy. They're chumming around. The doggy goes around everywhere with him. And let me share this real quick because it's so adorable. I don't think he's going to name the dog because he wants somebody he wants it to get a new home. So here's some pictures of him walking around Springfield, eating ice cream.
Okay, how can he not name that dog and keep
Look
it?
at that puppy.
I
Look at
don't
that
know,
puppy.
right?
Oh my!
Oh, looky there.
Well, he's got tags. I mean, is he?
I don't think those are real tags.
Oh, okay.
I think that's something he paid for himself while he's keeping him. But I told him, I said, look, man, that dog and you look so happy that you should be considering just keeping it. You know, he lives with Chance and Travis, who have dogs. So I think he'd be a good fix in there. A lot of people don't know. I'll tell a little Travis story. His daughter was acting kind of like a shithead one day on the phone with him, and I'm in the truck with him. So we're driving through town. And I whispered, I said, you should do this to mess with her. Make her do something. Because we're going to meeting them in about an hour to go see a movie at the Alamo Draft House. And he did it. I didn't think he'd do it. He actually said what I suggested. And I went, oh. And his daughter got so fucking angry at him. And I went, oh, she's not like my daughter with a good sense of humor. Oh, crap. So poor Travis, we get to the movie theater, and she is just digging into him the minute we get there. And I am one of those people. I was born this way. I took that bullet for Travis. And I said, that wasn't Travis, that was me. And she looked at me, and I said, yeah, it was totally me. I'm sorry. I had no idea you would get upset over it because my daughter finds that stuff funny. And she was cool with her dad from that point forward. No problem. She still, to this day, hates my guts for that one little prank.
Wow.
But I will take that bullet from my friend. I will take bullets from my friends. Especially when they got rotten kids. Haven't seen today's film. I haven't seen Brian's Blackadder comedy he's doing tonight. Not streaming it all today.
Blackadder's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It was Mr. Bean before Mr. Bean.
Yep.
And oddly, you know, as big a hit as Blackadder was, everybody knows Rowan Atkins is just Mr. Bean because that was cosmic level popularity.
Yeah, which I don't get because Blackadder is much better than Mr. Bean.
So much better. It's better written. There's stories. They're actual stories. Yeah. You know, basically, all Mr. Bean is Charlie Chaplin or what's his name? The other big comedic actor that did silent movies.
Buster
Keaton.
Yeah.
It's basically that character. He doesn't talk and he's just going through shit. But, you know, at the same time, he's also the cause of most of his own problems.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that makes it funny. That and the way he says thank you, which you know how he says thank you, right? He goes,
yeah.
The tongue comes completely out of the mouth. Thank you.
Oh. Yeah. The only skit I really like is him in the car flipping everybody off.
And that's in the movie.
Yeah, because he thinks that's how you say hello.
The one with the turkey when he stuck his head in the
gets his turkey caught in his head. That's hilarious.
Oh, and when the tank pancakes his car in the background in a parade, that shit almost killed me because you don't see you don't expect that. You see the car parking there, and then a tank comes as a comet, and boom.
By the way, I also think Peter McNichol did a terrific job in that film as the guy that's letting him stay at his house. He was so manic in that film. It was slaying me. And some of the stuff was so predictable, you know, when it was going to happen before it happened. The shocker was Burt Reynolds being in the movie. I mean, I was just like, holy shit, Burt Reynolds in this movie. But I'm going to tell you, 10 years later, a decade later, 1997 is when the first movie came out. 2007, He did was it Mr. Bean's Takes a Holiday or something like that. That's a better film. I don't think it's got funnier gags in it. It's just a better movie. It had a real story to it. And I liked that Rowan Atkinson found a way to make fun of what's his name that wrote Phantom of the Opera musical for Broadway.
Oh, Frank. Yeah, Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Andrew Lloyd Webber, because Andrew Lloyd Webber stole a lot from a classic composer.
Yeah.
And Rowan Atkinson was the first person to call him on it publicly. And they do it again in that movie, the 2007 movie. But my phone is humming. I think I'm going to move it over here. It's out of the way now.
Yeah, I was getting Frank Lloyd Wright and Andrew Lloyd Webber mixed up for a second.
Yeah,
so one said Frank Lloyd Webber, and I'm like,
oh, that
shit
happens to me all the time.
That's why you have the music nerd here.
The Frank Lloyd Wright brothers. Yeah, they build houses in the air. But Peter McNichol doesn't get a lot of affection. And they forget that guy is the same hero from the movie Dragon Slayer.
Yeah.
He was kind of the next Luke Skywalker if that movie had taken off. That was what Lucas wanted to do. And it just didn't happen. I love that movie, Dragon Slayer. And Peter McNichol went on. He's really better known to modern audiences for the TV Ridley Scott series Numbers. He was the professor, physicist.
Yeah. Well, and also, Ghostbusters too.
Oh, that's right. He's the guy, her boss.
Yeah.
Who's got the funny accent.
Yeah.
Hey, Vigo. What a weird accent. He was really good in that too. But let's get back to D-Day. We are, I might have done it last week, but last week's movie was kind of important, so we got that out of the way. This week we're celebrating D-Day, which was last week, but we are now D-Day +6, so it's still within the window of D-Day, because how many days did they go up? Because I know there was a joke in Band of Brothers where the guy says D-Day plus 265. It's like once you hit Arnhem, it didn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
It was no longer D-Day plus. And because that was where it ended. It came to a abrupt ending. And from that point forward, it was clawing for inches because they wanted to get to Berlin. And Arnhem ended up causing what we call the Battle of the Bulge, because that's what happened next. And that was
that was a slaughter.
It was against what they wanted to do. Patton said it in his opening speech. He says, "We will not hold. We will grab the Germans by the ass," is what he really said. But in the movie, they change it by the nose. We'll grab them, those Hun sons of bitches, by the ass, and follow them all the way into Berlin. And Patton's another film we're going to be doing on here because it's just a great movie. Francis Ford Coppola, a lot of people don't know, co-wrote that script. Great job, man. What a job.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
People forget that he's not just a director, he's a very good writer. He took a mediocre book, The Godfather, and working along with Mario Puzo, turned it into one of the greatest films ever made. And it's no miracle. It's just simply Coppola's a very, very competent writer. He wrote a lot and did a lot of the on-set changes to Apocalypse Now. Although in an interview, I loved it when he said this. Someone says, well, which parts were John Milius and which parts were you? And he goes, all those scenes that you really like to quote? Those are all Milius's. All those favorite moments in the film, those are all Milius's. But he did add a lot to the film. He's a very, very adept writer. And I like his writing. But anyway, This film, originally, Cornelius Ryan is the one who created the story for The Longest Day. And his name was taken off of it for the film. And instead of Cornelius Ryan, it is called Darryl F. Zanuck's The Longest Day. He's not the director. He didn't write it, but his name is on it. Because this is where John Carpenter got his idea, if you didn't know that, for putting his name on the title of every movie. It's not The Thing. It's John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah.
It's very clever. And I love the way he did that. Very few directors did that. And Carpenter really kind of led the way on that. And I like the way he did that. He makes the movie his. Owning it. Morning, Zax. How you doing? So,
You know what to do.
Oh, yes, I got to play that video. There it is. Oh, I like when it just pops up.
Hey, fuck you, Kyle.
There you go. I also have a couple of new videos I thought I'd premiere here today that I got. This one is one of my favorites.
That's it, man. It's game over, man. It's game over.
There you go.
We
And
better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I use that in real life on a regular basis. I say it just like her. I'll go, mostly.
You may kick it off.
Yeah, let's go, man. Let's go. Again, I didn't bother with subtitles on this because we're just going to be talking over the film. Occupied France in the 5th year of the war. Also, there's a death shown in the film that in real life, to my knowledge, there might have been another John H. Fuller. And but the John H. Fuller I know historically. By the way, that was Goldfinger on the horse.
Yeah.
And you'll see him again later doing the same thing, riding a horse.
Yeah, he's actually very clumsily getting off the horse, or is even later.
Yeah, because he's a tubby guy. He's like Sergeant Schultz trying to get off a horse. And a lot of people don't know this. Gert Frobe, who plays the German on the horse in this, there she is. Darryl F. Zanuck's girlfriend. That's Irina Demick, who's actually French, who plays the stacked French underground operator. Oh, yeah, Major. Here's the character, the guy with the scars on his face who received those. Here we get to see both the metal tank busters or breachers and the posts. Here we go. This is so fucking bizarre.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is where he disappears and then he just suddenly appears again. Boom.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre. I want to leave that in there because it really is
That was
shocking.
lazy.
Bad editing. Bad. It's like bad editing. Smack. Bad editing. They even put fans on these guys to blow their uniforms to make it look like they're outside. They absolutely should have done rear screen projection for this. One thing I'm grateful for, we don't have to worry about Monkey Jeebus's head being in this because there's absolutely zero nudity in this.
Yep.
A lot of German scenes, so you get to see operations and command from the German side. The only person, the one with the dog, you get to see him in country in Normandy, as well as one German officer puts his boots on wrong. He was so excited because he heard a crashing in his greenhouse. And you also discover in these scenes that there was a lot of arrogance in the German command. And you don't see it greater than in this film, where they just, there's no way they're going for, they're going to be, landing up north where it's closer to Britain, where they're only a few miles apart.
Yep.
And the other characters are hearing intel and activity that's more closer to Normandy. And so they absolutely screwed up in that process. Again, there's some more. Now, it's done better here It is done better here. But there's a scene here in the British camp where you see two guys, Americans, getting chow. And that's, again, a blue screen behind them. That's superimposed. And they did a better job with it here than they did in the other thing. But the problem is here. Can you pause? No, never mind. You can actually see some of the background. No, don't worry about it. You can see some of the background through their helmets. So they did a better job on it, but not great. It's the contrast that was better, so therefore the lines weren't so hard. But doing the composites was a mistake. It's this next shot right here. Oh wait, no. It's when they get to the close-ups where you can really see it. There, pause. You can see the tree line going into that guy's helmet up at the top.
Yeah.
And also, you can see that other guy's head through the guy's helmet on the right. You can see the guys walking in the background. You can see the one dude's head through his helmet and his back.
Yep.
And this is, it's better than what they did with the Germans, but as far as I'm concerned, they absolutely should have just done rear screen projection for this film. It would have looked so much better.
That's probably because of blue light reflecting on the helmet from...
I guarantee that's what it was. They didn't know how to light it properly.
Yeah.
There's a real trick to doing blue screen. You have to have overhead and backlighting, not just key lighting. You got to have your backlighting that lights the object. Now, you might recognize him. That's Dr. Bombay from Bewitched on the left.
Yep.
Again, this had an all-star cast, even some of the lower names. There's Roddy McDowell, plays a character by the name of Matthews in it.
Sean Connery's in it.
Sean Connery's in it for a lot. And I refer to him and his buddy as R2-D2 and C-3PO.
They kind of are.
Because they're just sort of wandering around commenting on things. And
they are, if you want the comic relief, I think.
Now, this is, of course, some of the airborne units, Army Air.
John Wayne.
John Wayne, who is 30 years older than the real guy. He got this role over Charlton Heston. Heston was really the one they wanted. And I think he pulled some strings. Because that's what Wayne would do. He would go do favors or call on favors. And next thing you know, he's in a movie he didn't fit in. Mitchum, another veteran. John Wayne is not a veteran. That's one thing that bugs me about him.
Eddie Albert.
Eddie Albert, also a fellow veteran, served in World War II. Both these guys playing real characters, best friends in real life. Not the actors, but the characters. And you get
someone pointed out in chat earlier that a lot of D-Day veterans, actual veterans, had an issue with the age of a lot of the actors.
Well, all the actors, even some of the warriors in it, look like they're in their 30s when a bulk of them would have been around 19 to 22.
Yep.
Combat-wise. Command, some of them were in their 30s. Some in their 40s, a majority in their 30s, including the character John Wayne's playing, who is in his 50s in this movie. There's Red Button on the left. He actually served in the assault. So he gets to play the paratrooper who got stuck on the church tower. And it's probably one of the funnier roles in the film. Perfect for Red Button.
Oh, yeah.
This guy's great. He wins all that money, and that's Sal Mineo behind him right there, who had a terrible death, murdered in real life. And his Catholicism gets the better of him after winning $3,500. So he decides to go lose it all so he doesn't have to go into combat with that guilt. He also considers it a luck thing. Even though he's Catholic, he considers it a luck thing, bad luck to go into combat with other people's money. So he goes and loses all of it. And it comes up later during the combat scene. Puts the rosary back in there. And there's Burton. Burton and his buddy here are the only two survivors of his unit now. The two of them. And it's weighing heavy on the character's mind that we're it. We're the last. Everybody else has been killed because their best friends just crashed into the ocean on the way back from Germany on a bombing mission. And I don't know if Burton ever served in the military. I don't know. I've never checked. But I don't care. Burton's like one of the greatest actors who's ever lived, as well as greatest overactors.
Yeah.
Because, boy, he could overact. But overact, like Christopher Walken, you didn't want to take your eyes off of him. And that's true. The animal tanked. There's another big actor. That is Robert Ryan, playing the part of Brigadier General in the command. He's going to be sending Wayne's character in. Well, I'll tell you now, Pilgrim. No, you'll tell me, will you, Wayne? You'll do as I'm directing you, or as the director directs you. And once again, no blue screen here.
No.
Looks good. I don't know why they did that with some scenes, and I suspect that some of those scenes were pickup scenes shot later, after the production had finished.
Gerry?
But yeah,
I looked it up. He was in the Royal Air Force.
So he did serve, but he didn't serve during World War II, did he? He wasn't old enough. Was he?
Hold on.
He was born in 25.
Yep.
So he would have been old enough. So yeah. He served in World War II. I'll be damned. Richard Burton. Commonly known here in the United States as Bill Murray. That's a joke from the movie Scrooged.
Yeah.
Because there he is, the overactor, always yelling into the phone.
Or also known as Mr. Elizabeth Taylor.
Yeah, Mr. Elizabeth Taylor. I'll tell you also, there's another minor part in this film. Two actors that were in a scene together, Robert Wagner and George Segal, are in the film. And George Segal, I know, served in the U.S. Army in Korea. He was a Korean vet. And those two actors were the right ages. They were younger in this movie, playing the part of Army Rangers. But I don't know if Robert Wagner served. We'll find out. He looks like a Navy guy if he did.
Yeah.
But he might have been Army. Who knows? Ha! I nailed it the first time. U.S. Navy. He totally looks like a Navy guy.
Yeah, he does.
Wagner, United States Navy, was awarded for extraordinary heroism in connection with his military operations against an armed enemy encampment while serving as a corpsman with the Marines. So he was a hospital corpsman.
He's a Navy corpsman. Nice.
Holy shit. Man, he just went up in my book. Because I wanted to be a hospital corpsman until I found out that I had to be in the Navy. I couldn't be in the Marines. That dude looks like Eisenhower. That is so weird. He's only been in a couple of movies.
Absolutely.
And he was clearly hired because he looks so much like Eisenhower. Or as they called him, Ike.
That casting was perfect.
So he served in combat, by the way. Wagner served in combat in Korea. So that is neat. Both he and George Segal both served in combat in Korea. And they got to play two of the Rangers who take one of the hills, or cliffs, technically, in the film. And that was Crawford there. Or Lawford, sorry.
Yeah.
Lawford. And I think I just
Do
saw.
Do you notice how the American actors all have Hollywood hair, whereas the German actors really went with the military cut?
Yeah, it's one of the most annoying things in the film is the American haircuts. That is not what that dummy looked like, by the way.
Yeah.
That is really nice, and they would have never put that effort into it. What they had was burlap sacks filled with beans and sand that had fucking firecrackers sewn to it that had a fuse. And when they would launch them out of the plane, the fuse was lit. And then by the time it hit the ground, it was already crackling off, pretend gunfire. So, but I assume this is pretty much what because they were in a big hangar bay when this took place in real life. Oh, thank you. North Fairfax is watching the show right now, and he sent me an image of one of those sandbags. There are different versions of the sandbag soldiers, and this is one of them. And let me see if I can upload it here real quick.
Let me know when you got it done, and I'll pause.
Give me a sec. Oh, I have too many things. It says delete overlay. There, now try it. So this is from North Fairfax Kangaroos. Pause.
I did.
There you go. In the background there, that's one of the fake soldiers. They're the size of a small child, but when silhouetted against the night sky and with ack fire, it would look like a normal sized human. Absolutely worked. It tricked the Germans.
I don't know why Hollywood had to do this.
It's just one of the many things they do, sex things up. And here we see them getting together, and they were listening to radio banter, and one of the radio reports said certain code words, and they knew shit was on. They're coming to Normandy. And the Germans were still trying to figure that shit out. And they show two characters in particular that are like, we should be doing this, but the guys that are actually in charge, like this guy here, no, we won't worry about that now.
They brush off all the warning signs because it's bad weather. They never do that in bad weather. And
Americans never attack in bad weather.
Yeah, they're just.
Yeah. The war is interrupting my card game
instead of.
Avicina's in the house.
It was Tim that sent me the photo. There's Rod Steiger, and I think this is his only scene in the film. And
you have too many names.
There's some good. It's actually not bad effects for 1962, and there he is, Captain Pike.
Yes, man, he was so young.
He died young. He died of a medical mistake, and it killed him. Very good actor. This scene is so good because he's talking to this guy about his girlfriend and then breaking up. And then he walks away and another dude goes, "Hey, who is that?" And he goes, "I don't know." He told me his life story.
Yeah, that was funny.
And he ends up getting killed later. That guy that walked up to him, he's the machine gunner.
I think that was why he did it. He wanted
now, it's
to tell
funny
someone his
when
story before he went to die.
Okay, go back a frame. I'm sorry. I was going to try to say it while the frame was there of the church.
No, I went too far. Sorry.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. When I did the storyboards for No Better Place to Die, right there, this is the location where a lot of the battle takes place in that screenplay. The village near where the bridge is, where the 82nd Airborne had to fight.
Yeah.
And it's one of the bloodiest battles during D-Day outside of Omaha and Utah Beach. But that bell tower plays heavily into this story, and it plays heavily into the town does. into the storyboards for the film I did for Dale Dine and Tom Hanks. And I love there's so many, because a lot of people don't know that D-Day was a hookup film between the landing on the beaches and the landing inland from the airborne, and they were to connect and then start moving forward together. Take the beaches, control the inland, and move forward in a wedge. And that was the plan. And it worked all the way, like I said, to Arnhem. So anyway, you can continue, sir. Thank you. Oh, Che's here. What's up, Che? I'll tell you, Germans dress to the damn nines. I swear. And who cuts a cake like this?
Well, it's a birthday party, so.
There's Robert Wagner.
Psychopaths
and I'm looking
and Germans.
It's Wagner there. You get to see him again later during the cliff scene. Oh, my God. The glider corps. These are some gutsy sons of bitches right here.
Yes, they were.
So many of them died landing.
How were the gliders called? The flying coffins?
Yeah, flying coffins. And this guy, I love this guy, Major John Howard. He's like, you keep hearing throughout the film, hold until relieved. And you hear it echo through the movie. Whenever you see him, hold until relieved. Because that was his orders.
Well,
hold the bridge until relieved.
Whiteman Air Force Base, where the B-2s are stationed, originally started out as the Sedalia glider base.
Whoa!
And it's three gliders, by the way, that they show landing here, but it's actually the same glider landing 3 times.
We have to go to break.
Break time? All right, pause. Bill, do your thing and take us out of here. Hi, guys. This is Gerry from Pop Culture Minefield here on KGRA, and we're leaving for our first break. I hope we survive.
Did you know 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated? If you struggle with focus, run low on energy, or when it's time to finally sleep, you simply can't, this can all be linked to dehydration, and Fuel Up has the answer. Our proprietary formula contains the finest cellular hydration with the strongest immune-enhancing natural ingredients. The Fuel Up system is made up of 3 different incredibly tasting varieties. Wake kickstarts your day with a jolt of caffeine. Play boosts focus while hydrating your cells. Rest not only helps you relax, but also rejuvenates your cells while you sleep. Here's what our clients have to say.
I really don't miss my coffee, and you can tell the difference.
So I'm going to take it for the energy. I'm going to take it for the play. I'm going to take it, all day.
And it works. That's the thing. It works. We love it.
Take the Fuel Up Challenge now, where we offer a Feel the Difference money-back guarantee. Fuel Up for life.
Hey members, the new KGRA DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA DB.
Oh wow, we survived. Welcome back to the commercial break. Now for some more Pop Culture Minefield on KGRA. Now, I want to point something out, too, that I forgot to mention earlier, was that in order to confuse the Germans, the U.S. created inflatable boats,
and
vehicles, jeeps, trucks, tanks, half-tracks. They look real.
Yes,
when you look at them, they're amazingly detailed. I remember footage of a deuce and a half. The guy walked up to it. I thought it was a real deuce and a half. And then he grabbed it and turned it over, like with 2 hands, just flipped it over. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a fucking balloon. They were tricking them because they knew there were spies watching them. And they even had fake boats in leading up to D-Day to trick the Germans. Well, it was some of the best done in the history of modern warfare.
In one of the on the coastal bases, they had a full unit of tanks and they have even Patton walk into the inflatable tanks to make believe the speed. And they couldn't. They said no, they're not mobilizing. They have their best general there, and he was just walking between balloons.
I know it's ridiculous, some of the shit that happened. But anyway, so the gliders were definitely, and what they did in the film is they shot one glider landing and then showed it 3 times, the exact same landing. And it was meant to show that it was 3 gliders landing. And some of these guys got smoked right when they got down. And but they did their mission. They took that damn bridge. It was quick. They did it in minutes. And it's to be honest with you, some of these guys were doing some of the first commando work ever done in the European campaign, and proved that they were very, very fucking effective. And they were getting done in minutes, things that should have taken longer. And they'd look at their watches like, we're ahead of schedule, because it went so well. They did their job so well. They were trained so well. And there's the Sten gun. I love that. The British Sten. It's a cool little weapon, cheaply made, but it's a good weapon.
Well, it was stamped instead of tooled, right?
And there it is. When he's standing there, he hears the order, hold until relieved. And it repeats, and that's why he smiles. He repeats, because he hears it again here. Hold until relieved. It's like Obi-Wan Kenobi with Luke. Use the Force, Luke. It's the only time you hear it in the movie with any character. It's just his character, for some reason, has a ghost following him of a general giving him a command. Again, some of these scenes with the Germans are, in my opinion, some of the best scenes in the film, because there's a lot of tension in it. Because these guys are trying to unravel what's happening live. And to be honest with you, the actual officers tend to be more on the game than the guys in command.
Yeah. Yeah, their higher-ups didn't want to hear it. They're too busy playing cards.
Yep.
Yeah.
Having birthday parties.
And here we see John Wayne's group. And in real life, John Wayne's character broke his leg on his landing. And these landings, none of them went well. None of them went well for some of these guys. They were fucked up. They were landing on houses. They were landing
the whole group
on.
Was shot before they touched ground.
Oh, they were just murdered in the air. If they saw them, they started firing ACAC guns. And really, that's what happened with Burton's character. He got hit by an ACAC gun. And here we go. This is the dummy scene. So the Germans are like, let's get some. Go. Run. Get to them. And they're going after these dummies, shooting them in the air. And so the trick worked. It really confused them and made them think that the war was going up north. I keep wanting to say Calais. Is it Calais where they thought it was supposed to be?
Yeah.
Because the point of Calais is right at the corner of England, and it's the closest where they're the closest. And they just thought that's where they're going to do it.
It's like some 30 miles or so between Dover and Calais.
And what really surprised them also is they expected it in May, the assault, and because that's when good weather was. And then June came, and it was just shitty weather. In fact, they launched days late because of shitty weather. But the shitty weather didn't end. It just cleared a little. It's like they hit a clearer moment. There was no sun. And that's another mistake made in the film. It shows sunshine. It shows the sun higher in the sky.
We have a super sticker.
Darius. Thank you.
Darius Munchausen, $4. Thank you, sir. And I know it is a pair with a cup of coffee.
Exactly.
Bicycle. Her and her damn bicycle.
Oh, you're a psychic, man.
Well, that bike's got that nice rack.
They're like, what are you doing here? What do you value your papers? It's. I think Germans are taught that in the first grade.
Okay, let me show the video for.
Let me papers. Okay, pause the movie.
Here we go.
How do you write women so well?
I think of a man, and I take away reason,
and accountability.
That look on her face like, oh.
How that smile just dies.
So he now
slowly.
sees that this is sabotage, and she risks her life here. I like that. She starts attack. She doesn't have a weapon. She starts attacking him, trying to stop him from warning the train away. And she pulls him off the bridge, and they fall into the water, and he's drowning her. And finally, the British commando runs up and shoots this Kraut in the back. That's not a miniature. That was full size. I was really shocked by that. Again, why they didn't do rear screen on that. But then they cut to a miniature at the next angle for the derailment. But wow, that was really good. That was a full-size train that derails at first into the light or the telephone pole that they just ran from in front of. Hey, did you see that? Go back one. That was Stallone statue in the background. See that? Sylvester Stallone statue. I never caught that before. There he is. Rambo.
Right.
Well, the Japanese have never been in a position to where they could. They're allowed to have a standing defensive military. They're not allowed to have an offensive military. They have lived by the MacArthur plan ever since the end of World War II. But I got to tell you, MacArthur gave them our lunch. They ate our lunch. And that's why they have beaten us with technology. They don't invent the technology. We tend to invent it, and then they take it and make it cheaper. And that's how the Japanese kicked our ass. And mass produce it. Yep, that's right. Oh my God, yeah. These scenes where they land in side building areas or on buildings and shit. That guy goes right through the top of that freaking shed. It's the two that, the well is fucked up. Because I don't know if that guy survived. And it did happen. What a fucked up, what are the odds?
Brutal.
This happened actually, a couple of guys that I know about, they survived. They landed, went through a tree, and their legs got stuck. And here's the German officer that puts his boots on backwards. He puts his left foot on his right
Here
foot.
we go.
Yeah.
Because he's in such a hurry because he heard something crash. And how he survives this moment, because these commandos could easily have killed him. But they didn't. His boots on the wrong feet. That's Amber Heard on the left.
Really? I didn't see it taking a shit.
Well, the name of the statue is the Standing Turd.
God.
I don't know what that is in German. Do you know what that is? Something Scheisse.
I will not react to that.
This is a cute moment. This is the priest. And he's refusing to leave until he finds that, because it has the sacraments to give to the soldiers. He would rather die than not have them. And that other commando jumps in there and starts helping. It's a funny scene. And there he is, the guy with scars on his face with his dog. I love his dog in these scenes. It's just like, according to what I read, he really had a very close relationship with that damn dog. They were best friends.
Did he adopt it after shooting?
Saint Mir Eglise. I'm not sure if the dog survived. I think the dog was killed during the beach scenes. They didn't show it in the film, but I do believe he was killed in the battle. Just too much shelling and gunfire. And these are, of course, the French. And she saw some of the GIs, the one that told her to go, shh. She's going to an outhouse to take a shit in the middle of the night. And she sees this commando in her yard. And he looks at her and goes, shh. And there's Red Button. I love that guy. He was so funny. I loved him when he go on Carson. And Red Button has one of the best characters. He's the guy who gets trapped on the bell tower. True story. And he went deaf. And got shot in the foot because a German finally saw him. He was trying to cut himself loose with his, was it a K-bar? It wasn't or was it a commando knife? I can't remember. But he was trying to cut himself loose and dropped the blade. And it fell. And when it made a noise, the German heard it, turned and looked up, saw him and shot at him, Missed him for the most part, except for one round. Hit him in the sole of his foot and went through his toes. And then they started doing the alarm and ringing the bells for 10 hours straight. And he went deaf from it. I don't know if it's temporary, but he was deaf for quite a while.
That would have done serious damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because those old school World War II parachutes didn't have a lot of control to them.
Jay, what the hell?
Fucking Jay. That sounds like a joke Gerry would make.
Absolutely. You ruined him.
ruined Brian. So here he is. He's going to go look out the... and this is a mistake they made in Saving Private Ryan. They had this concrete bunker on the wrong beach in the movie. It wasn't on that beach. And this is a scene. Is this? Oh no! This is the American preacher, and he clicks and clicks and clicks and he's getting frustrated. And the guy yells at him. He goes, "We knock it off, Reverend. We can hear you." Now he gets fucked over here. Sal Mineo's character. He clicks and gets 2 clicks back, but then you hear that it's the German rifle clicking.
Oh shit!
Pulling back and putting forward.
That was so fucked up.
And from that point forward, when you see other commandos using the cricket, they do it once, get a reply, and then do it again to make sure. And that's because I'm assuming that intel was given back that the sound of the rifle cocking being loaded makes the same sound. But the cricket saved a lot of guys' lives. But we're about to see a scene that was similar, because this is a scene that actually took place with the 101st Airborne. And it was supposed to be in Band of Brothers, and they did it differently. And they do the clicking here, which they never showed in Band of Brothers. And
yes, they show it.
They did.
What time?
They did.
I don't remember it, but
that's how I learned.
Hold on. So they go walking by Germans, and the Germans go walking by them with a retaining wall. And one of them in the back, who's not even with them, goes, "Wait, guys, those were Germans." They just keep going. True story. Germans didn't act. They all thought they all belonged there. He looks out there and he's like, "There's nothing, nothing's going to happen." And oh boy, when that sun started coming up that morning,
yep,
and just walls of ships
and that fog from all that rain.
Yep,
that is fantastic.
And what they did in this is they did matte paintings. And I wish they'd done a better job with matte paintings, because there's a shot near the end of the film that they should have had another matte painting, because there should have been about 1,000 ships in that water. And there was over 5,000 ships total. It lined the skyline. And when you see the Germans' reaction, when you see that German's reaction, that officer, I guarantee you that's what the real German was doing. He was shitting his fucking pants. The invasion is here. It's now.
And they had no idea how many ships the Allies had. They totally underestimated that.
And I'm going to give you the number right now. There was 139,000 casualties on the beaches of Normandy and inland. Allied forces. 25,000 killed in the first day, in the first wave.
Horrible. And they knew what they had coming.
And when I say casualties, that means wounded. Of those wounded, 25,000 were killed. There he is, Teddy Roosevelt Jr. And he brings up his arthritis here. It's a nice little nod to the real guy. And he demanded that he be in on this mission. He says, "I belong on that beach. Yes, I'm going. And I will take my cane."
That is so funny, because he gets permission, and then as he's leaving, he's being asked about his arthritis. And given one last chance to get out of there. And he said, hasn't fled up in months. And as soon as he's outside of the door, he takes his cane that he stored there.
That's right.
That was funny.
And it's Henry Fonda. There it is. He is hiding it.
Yep.
And now what they're planning here, this battle scene is the first of its kind I've ever seen, the best of its kind I've ever seen. That this is done, almost the entire main body of the battle is done in one shot, done by crane. And I just think it's one of the most amazing things. There's no close-ups. It's all done like you're watching from the air, of this battle. And it follows it, and then it does this amazing turn at the middle of the battle. It turns so you can see all the way down. They absolutely reenacted the entire battle of Casino in this movie and did it in one shot. How they pulled that off is still amazing to me.
Yeah, how they could pull that off and then did lazy stuff like the German disappearing in the beginning.
Yeah,
Same
I know,
movie.
right?
Same movie. Awesome stuff and fucking
I would
stuff.
like to do a fan edit of this and fix that fucking shit.
Oh, yeah. Please.
And you know what? I'm going to do it. I have the tools. I can fucking do it. I got to get a higher quality copy. I want a 4K copy. I love these scenes with the German crew here looking out.
Bitching about wasting another night. No sleep. And nothing
there it
is
is.
happening.
Look at that face. Is that fucking here? Get to the chopper.
Who's here?
Everybody's on the radio. Get to the chopper. And
how many? All of them.
All of them. That's right. How many did they bring? All of them.
He's losing it. Completely losing it.
Blue screen that bugs me. That why they bothered to do blue screen. There's nothing in the background that needed to be blue screened in. Silly. There he is, Goldfinger. This is where Goldfinger gets the shit kicked out of him. And I really thought they were going to show. First time I watched this, that Frenchman's going to go get a rifle and kill that German. Look at him getting off that horse. He's like, and then the shelling, that horse fucking hauls ass out of there. I love this Frenchman fucking celebrating. They're about to get fucking killed by the Allies, and he's still celebrating. And it cuts to the last moment. Remember when you see him sitting down with his wife laughing, and then it turns to crying because he was terrified, but he was also very elated at the same time.
Yeah, I love how he stands by this window every morning to give the German the stink eye when he rides by.
Yeah.
Because there he is again, always on time.
And that guy probably should have died there because they were getting hit by so much artillery from those ships. And there's the German pilot. They're the only two pilots, him and his buddy. And when he gets the order here, he's angry and yelling at the overacting. And then he gets off the phone and he goes, well, it's just us. So I guess we're not coming back. Let's go. Let's go. It's just that's how it is. Very
simple. Go die.
And they do. They show the strafe scene in this. They also show the scenes that were shown in Saving Private Ryan with the real group. There we go. This is one of the shittiest blue screen shots there. It was just terrible.
Yeah.
They should have done rear screen. It would have looked so much better. And for all those numbers you're seeing there, imagine if there were 5 times that. And that's what it really looked like. Yeah, this officer's an idiot. They also keep the scene in here where the Germans tried to surrender and get shot. It's in here. And the guy turns and says, what does bitter mean? After he kills him. Also in this scene, it shows right there, you can see it at the top of those beams of wood were landmines.
Yep.
Because they were expecting an assault to be when the water was higher. And you can see him there. See him at the top of the beams?
Yes.
Those were all landmines. That is something that got left out of Saving Private Ryan, even though someone told me it's in there. I haven't seen it. There they are, running by them. Those are landmines. They're not tin hats. They're fucking landmines sitting on top of those posts. And the film depicts it pretty well. What did I say? It's factual. The film is very factual, but not very accurate in its depiction of combat. But because they got these guys, like Mitchum's character, you'll see him stand up bravely, but that didn't happen. You know, that's Omar Bradley, by the way. That's George Patton's best friend. He was the soldier's general because he came up through the ranks. He wasn't like Patton, a graduate of West Point. Also for these beach scenes, not enough gunfire. They did know how to do tracers, because there was a movie made during World War II that animated tracers with David Niven. It was combat in North Africa. But visually, this looks good. And he, of course, runs up to this sergeant, shoots the Germans, and he goes, "I got him, Sergeant." And the sergeant's dead. He's been dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's his big moment. Henry Fonda on the beach. This is the last time you see him. And like I said, he survived for 6 days before having a heart attack in Normandy as they moved past St. Mary Glees. And that's something that's unusual. You hardly ever see the ducks in these movies, and those are ducks.
Yep.
And here we see the strafing scene, and we are the POV. We are the plane flying over the troops, firing at them. And they're showing the littered beach, but even it was far worse than what they're showing here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think Saving Private Ryan did that much better, because that scene was brutal.
Yeah, the one mistake they made is showing bullets hitting guys in the water. It didn't work that way.
Yeah.
It could hit them if they're above the water. Once they were under the water, it didn't hit them. What happened? Oh, there's Sean Connery, by the way.
Yep.
Sean Connery's team is, now we get to see him and his buddy wander around commenting. Oh, this is it. Sean Connery's team getting off the boat. And they comment on the dog and this officer. It's so funny. They're the Greek chorus in their scene, just like R2-D2 and C-3PO is. This guy is interesting because a communications officer that needs to report back some information says, "May I use your mic?" He goes, "No, you may not." So they decide to send carrier pigeons, and the carrier pigeons fly the wrong fucking way.
I love the dude with the bagpipe.
And there's Connery. He's
Looking
got
for
the
hot fingers.
Oh shit! What was that? They're both in this. Goldfinger and Bond are in
And
this
Bond.
movie together. I'm here to find Goldfinger and kill him before my movie. And there's the guy with the bagpipes, man. And they did this. It's crazy.
And the commander tells him what to play.
Yep. And the Frenchman interrupts him and almost gets run over by a tank. It's funny. And there it is, a British bulldog.
The Frenchman just wants to share his champagne.
There they are. They're commenting on everything.
Bitching about the bagpipe guy. Takes an Irishman to play
It takes an Irishman to play a bagpipe. And of course, it goes back to the Irish gave the bagpipes to the Scottish as a joke. And Scotland is so dumb, they still don't understand it. Oh, yeah. And this is another thing you don't show in a lot of it is American pilots going in and shooting the Germans up. So the Germans were doing it, the Americans and the Brits were doing it. And I do like that this German drags his leg in a very realistic way when they're carrying him. He's using one leg and dragging the other. Yeah, he knows he's fucked right here.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great moment. And they're like, "What is it, dear? What's going on?" "I'm going to be executed by Hitler." Because I let him nap. There again, there's Robert Wagner.
Hitler was too busy not having sex with Eva Braun.
Jesus.
By the way, that's Paul Anka, the singer.
Yeah, right.
Paul Anka, who also sang the song for this movie, The Longest Day. There's Wagner. He was a corpsman in North Korea, in the war with North Korea. And this is an insane thing they did here, getting up this fucking cliff while being fired upon. And they're cutting down their fucking ropes because they're hooked into. There's George Segal. We just lost him, 2 years ago?
Yeah, something like that.
Robert Wagner's still with us.
Yeah.
Sadly, I think he's also a murderer, but I don't want to go much into that. But he proved that one kind of wood that doesn't float is Natalie wood.
My God. Jesus Christ.
Jokes are flying low today.
They're dark. They're really dark jokes. This is really one of my favorite combat scenes because this is intense and personal fucking combat. And there he is, his machine gunner buddy that we met earlier. And he buys it here, saves him. He throws Robert Wagner's character down and lands on top of him and takes the brunt of the explosion, killing him. And those ducks down below. Fucking love ducks, man. We had one here that overturned and people died in Missouri Springs, over in Lake of the Ozarks, wasn't it?
Yep, because they were out and storm came up and they didn't come to shore when they should have.
Yep.
They got sued.
Yeah. What was the outturn on that? Outcome. There he is. The machine gunner's dead.
I know that they grounded them. Well, grounded, but they
couldn't go out anymore. They shut him down.
Yeah, they shut him down, and I think that there's another company that has it and it's going to reopen it or has reopened it, but they have a stricter
guidelines. Here we go. This is the big moment in the film that they kind of misrepresent what happened here. That they were supposed to take this bunker, and there's nothing there. It never got fitted with weapons. So we took it for nothing? No, you now own the land. Yeah. You took it from the Germans. Pissing him on him. And there he is, Paul Anka again. I love that moment. He says, "Are you still wearing a life vest? Why?" And he goes, "I can't swim." Yeah. Great moment. You can see how defeated they look right now. All the characters. Yeah. They know that they have lost this fucking day. They have lost what we refer to in warfare as initiative. I like that reverse shot of him. And again, this is the moment where you finally have the payoff for him hearing, "Hold until relieved." Because once the other team gets there, you hear the voice again say it. It's just so weird that was done that way. And he's smiling, excited. And there's Connery and his buddy.
They're just funny, the two of them.
But it's on the bridge where he hears that voice again and he smiles. "I'm relieved." Connery and his buddy fucking commenting again on warfare. The Greek chorus in the movie. I swear to God, I wish they'd been in more. Oh, there's the moment. There's where he hears it. "Hold until relieved." This is where they discovered that somebody had altered the sign, that St. Mary Glees is to their right. And so they do that. But he does something here. He says, instead of turn the sign correctly, take that sign down. It's like, what? No, turn it. So others know where to go. Are you fucking kidding me?
He's also chewing them out because none of them bothered to look at a compass but him.
And again, I wanted to point this out for Anima, because she asked, why are their chin straps so big and bulky looking? It's because airborne, they're afraid the helmets wouldn't, with the normal strap, would hold on. So they built a very large cup-sized holder for their chin to make it more firm on their head so it wouldn't fly off.
Yep.
I love the sandbox scenes in this, or map runs. All right, here we are, Casino. This is that battle where I was talking about, where this is an amazing achievement in the cinema right here. From right this moment when they come out, it is non-stop from one camera. Everything was on cue. People were falling right. They take positions just like they did in Casino. This is a complete reenactment of the battle done with one camera. And right here, when it gets behind the German building right here, is when it finally cuts to a new angle right there. And it's amazing how they pulled this off. It's just, that was a major achievement. I was in awe watching that. And they got these anti-armor barricades that they're hiding behind. They were great defense for soldiers, ground soldiers. Although when he goes in that building, his back is to that building where they're firing at him. And I'm like, how about getting out of the line of fire when you're inside that building? That was one mistake I caught. And this shit was good. Like, how are we going to deal with this thing? You know, how are we going to do it? And finally, a miracle happens because so many tanks sank. And by the way, for the making of this film, one of the Sherman tanks, I think it was one of the Americans, when they were making the film, they found it buried on the beach in the sand.
Yeah, and they used it.
And they pulled it up with a crane and cleaned it up and got it working and used it in the movie. An actual tank that was meant to be used in the actual battle that never got used. The flotation.
Look, free tank.
The nuns are fucking crazy. I hate nuns. And I was like, in that scene, I'm like going, let him die. Let him. Oh, they lived.
Childhood trauma, Martin.
Oh, man. Grow it up. Grow up out of it.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Germans, Nazis, like leftists cannot meme. If you caught that, go back to the inside shot with the artillery. And then pause on it.
Yeah.
Americans were so much better, and even the Brits were better at graffiti. Germans are just awful. Look at that. Hell, Sieg Heil. Or is it just
no, it doesn't say
Heil.
No, the first Sieg. No, the first Sieg is behind the guy's head.
Yeah. So it's Sieg Heil. Sieg Heil.
Sieg Heil. They're terrible at memes. But this tank shows up, and the Germans are fucked. It just it doesn't hit the artillery. It hits the building and brings the building down onto the artillery and destroys it that way. Beautiful scene. They're actually, because the other problem I had with Saving Private Ryan is it did things, and it's not Dale's fault. It's just simply, you know, they wanted to throw all this important stuff in, but by doing that, they were throwing things on Omaha Beach that didn't happen on Omaha Beach. It happened on Utah Beach.
Yeah.
But this is it. This is the Fighting 29th. That's my unit. And he's in command of them right now because he found out that they lost their command, just like in the movie. Saving Private Ryan. You're in charge. Got an operational radio. And there he does something that nobody would ever do. Stand up in that fucking fight. Eddie Albert hooks up with him here. They are, in my opinion, the two main characters in this film, Mitchum and Eddie Albert, because we see more of them on screen in the storytelling process than any other characters on the American side, Allied side. And we get more character development with them. And Eddie Albert, I think this is what his character buys it. He ran off and he gets fucking nailed by the Germans. And this is where he wants to find engineers, because engineers have Bangalore minds.
Yep.
And he orders John Fuller, played by Hunter, in this. And in the film, it shows him get killed, but the John H. Hunter that I know of that served in D-Day survived the battle on the beach, and was a sergeant. And he was field promoted after St. Mary Glees to lieutenant, and then got another field commission to captain.
Damn.
Wow.
There's Button's character. And he's like, huh? Because you can't hear a fucking thing he says. Can't hear you. 10 hours of bells. The church tower. And he has the single lamest line, but it's true. What was said. Because he's been watching John Wayne's character, that officer from the beginning, and all the troops. And as they're walking by, he speaks to the other soldier, his buddy there, says to him, man, the old man has changed. And then he says it in the lamest old Hollywood way, or maybe it was us that changed.
Yeah.
Maybe it was us. I thought that should have been delivered better. I was just one of those lame-o throwaway lines. It just didn't work for me. Here's where he says it there. It's like, oh, really? Couldn't you have found a better way of saying that? That's St. Mary Glees. It was achieved and taken from the Germans. They fled, heading back to the Rhineland. But I will tell you, outside of Saving Private Ryan, there he is. He's asking him. Those are Bangalore mines right next to him.
Yep.
Telling him what we need you to do. He goes, yes, sir, I'm on it. I'm your man. I'm Johnny on the spot.
What?
It's an Americanism, Johnny on the spot. I'm your guy.
You keep confusing me with those.
There's a lot of great idioms that you don't know.
Yeah, Johnny on the spot's old. Like
Very old school. It's like bucket mouth. Old school. So this is great. And this is how it was really done. Not like they did in Saving Private Ryan. In this one, they went up there, blew a hole with the Bangalore mines through the barbed wire, got up underneath that giant concrete bunker with those weapons, and put tons of fucking high explosives under it. And John Hunter in this gets killed as he's running back. He's bringing the line. Another guy goes up and grabs it, and then they detonate it, and it just blows it apart. You also see a guy get shot here, and then another guy run up and just pull his body out of the way and continue doing the job. And that's how it would have happened.
Yeah.
There's no taking time to mourn the dead ever.
Next man up.
Next man up. Next man up. And it's true. They did have captain bars and their command rank on them. Some of them would black them out, cover them so they couldn't be seen. But a lot of these senior officers wanted others to know they had commanders with them so they wouldn't lose initiative. And there's Eddie Albert getting wasted. But they got through, they breached it, and it was all, I wouldn't say it was downhill, but it was easier once they destroyed that major bunker. Because they were trapped on that beach for hours, like 2 or 3 hours. They were trapped, and he delivers the line: anyone that stays on this beach is either dying or dead. We got to go. And here's where he discovers the British officer that crashed, played by Richard Burton. And he describes the injury. And that, of course, is the German officer that put his boots on backwards. And Richard Burton, he sits down next to him to give him a smoke and says, you notice anything interesting about the German officer? He's like, his boots are on the wrong feet. Guess someone was in a hurry.
No, he needs to point that out to him. He doesn't realize it. He needs to tell him because he looks at him and he's like, no.
He's either smoking Chesterfield or Lucky Strikes. That's what usually were given to soldiers in their sea rats.
In movies, it's usually Lucky Strike. And he's telling him how the medic patched him up with safety pins.
Yep. And he said he's going to come back before the morphine wore off, but it's starting to wear off. It's like, I don't think he's coming back. And to my knowledge, this was the last time medics had the big white field with a red cross on it. They stopped doing it because it made them easy targets, the snipers.
Yep.
It's a great scene. I love this movie so much. Oh yeah, we're at the end of the movie now, and he finally throws that one cigar away and gets a new one. And I love this scene, and this is where the music starts, The Longest Day. And it's right there, that angle, pause, right there, pause. A matte painting was so needed there because that's the only boats they have in the water there. There were 5,000 ships in that fucking ocean right there. Would have been in shot, going off into the horizon. And the British kind of take umbrage with the film and to certain people's thinking that they had it easy going in, that only Omaha and Utah were where the heaviest combat was. But the fact is they absolutely saw a lot of combat on that beach. The British too.
Yeah.
And the Canadians. We had Canadians there. Let's see. What is this? General Omar Bradley, never heard of him. Does he have an armored vehicle named after him? Maybe. One of the worst vehicles ever made. Armored vehicles. Yeah, he got killed because he had to get back to Green Acres.
Bangalore sounds like a Bond name.
Yeah.
Bond name.
And I'm trying to read some of these comments. That's why I got quiet.
Pussy's sister. Bang.
Yeah. Yeah, that's correct. I've seen Pushy galore. But this is a great film. Cornelius Ryan wrote it, but it was originally released as the book was released as Cornelius Ryan's Longest Day. When it was turned into a film, it became Darryl F. Zanuck's because he wanted his name on it. Ownership. I produced this. This is mine. He was peeing on it, marking his territory. Sort of like he did.
What's worse today, listening to Gerry's jokes or all the noise because it's Clean Your Car Day, apparently.
Whose?
It's Clean Your Car Day over here, so there's a lot of noise going on outside all morning, and now it's just started again.
No, so we've gone through a whole show and nobody told me?
No, with me, my background.
Oh, with your background. I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
But
I went on mute when it got loud.
And it's funny, by the way, Shellback, I just showed the intro to the pilot episode to Anima of Green Acres and explained who Eddie Albert was and how I love the premise of that show and that it's based off of his own experiences, the show's creator, of growing up on a farm, and he hated it because his dad always wanted to live on a farm. And he's like, if I had never set foot on another farm, it'll be too soon, you know. But he does a damn show called Green Acres. That was kind of a nod to his father. But there we go. What did you guys think of the film?
I think overall it's a classic.
It's very factual, but not very accurate. Because, and I'm going to tell you right now, I guarantee you Anima did not have as much problems watching that film than watching some of the other films. And the reason why is because it lacks realism of the combat. Yeah. It was very Hollywood in how it did it. I think the closest thing to a real combat scene they did Far Away.
Yeah.
Is that long shot of, and one long shot for the taking of Casino. And that just blew me away, man. Holy shit, what is this? Is this Tom Cruise?
What?
Travis shared a video of a stunt, and that's a crazy. It's like a guy and a woman running through explosions, shot from an overhead camera.
Sounds like Tom Cruise.
I don't think that's Tom Cruise. He doesn't run like Tom. Tom Cruise runs like this.
Oh yeah, the Tom Cruise run.
So, But anyway, I got another message. Who's that from? Oh, it's from my friends. You know them, Mac.
Oh yeah,
And the
I
guys.
love Mac.
We have a private group, the whole group of us, that includes Zoe, by the way. She's, it's family. It's not just my friends; they're my family. They're wanting to do. I guess they're wanting to do another get together. That'll be nice. A little cookout before before it's too shitty.
Shitty? You mean summer?
Yeah, I hate summer here. That's why I love air conditioning.
Mm. Yeah, I'm facing my first summer after 5 years without an air condition. I think I've gotten used to it. So,
how hot does it get up there in Austria?
In Vienna, way past 30 degrees. Almost as hot as Croatia. Not for very long, though.
Because I thought with it being up further north, it wouldn't get so hot.
No, the summer's getting hotter and hotter. And the heat periods get longer.
It's climate change. Gerry in 1, 2, 3.
No, I'm not going to respond to that.
You're not fun today.
It's science fiction, and people are treating it like it's real. It's like, shut up.
It's almost like we're coming out of an ice age period from thousands of years ago, and it's just now temperatures are now starting to stabilize.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, though, again, everything depends on the sun.
Yeah.
The sun's going to go into a cooling down or heating up periods, and what it decides to do is what impacts our climate. Agreed. When you've got pollution really, really does impact that. And but only on the region it's in, or the region that the pollution is impacting. It's just, that's how pollution works. It's got to be able, it's got to block it. By the way, do you see that crazy shit in New York?
Oh yeah. Well, Bill shows us in his backyard.
That was crazy.
Yeah, there were.
I think my favorite photo from New York on what was it, the 8th when it happened?
Yeah, on the bridge. It looks like it's from Blade Runner 2049.
That one's good, but my favorite is the one that has a silhouette in the cloud of reddish sky Godzilla. That would crack me up. That was my favorite. But yeah, where it cuts from an image from Blade Runner 2049 to New York 2023. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But yeah, I'm trying to see what the temperature. Yeah, so it gets up in the 80s for you then during the summers in Austria. I was just thinking, the highest it says it will sometimes get up to about 35.
No, it gets beyond that too, but it's usually days when it really spikes.
Which is still below 100, but you can feel it. It'll make you schwitz.
Yeah, and the thing is, the air isn't really moving because it's a city, and I just spent 5 years in a small city, seaside, where there's always wind. Good question, Shay. We don't know yet. Hopefully soon.
Even my wife is asking me that from time to time. For real?
Yeah, it goes like this. Mildred goes, when is she coming here? Oh, wait, we're in Mexico.
But it is going to happen now that the stupid mandatory vaccination thing is out of the way.
Yeah.
I'm very happy about that.
Keep telling you, Martine, you can just come up and walk across the border and we'll come pick you up.
But wait and do it in a wave, because the media loves that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then yell out, Viva Venezuela! Oh,
Speaking
no,
of-
even better. Make sure you get on camera and put Pop Culture Minefield.
Yeah, represent.
Speaking of high temperatures, my native city, we have
What city are you from?
a medium Maracaibo,
Okay.
and we have a average temperature of 104 Celsius.
That's pretty
It's
hot.
so yeah, it's so funny when you take a shower and you dry up with your towel, and before you have fully clothed, you are sweating again. It's so funny.
Oh, you're a coastal.
Yeah, we have it in a big lake.
Oh, that's what it is. It's an inlet
Yep, and the fucking lake is
for the
below
Caribbean
sea
Ocean.
level. So yeah, we live in basically we live in a pot boiling water.
Well, it's really funny. You live at a point right across from Santa Rita,
Yep.
and it's the point where it comes closest. And there's a bridge there, and you're where the bridge is.
Yep.
That is nice. I like this the city.
Except for the communists.
Yeah.
Love to live there if it wasn't commie. And I bet you
Sons of bitches.
Martin is like, yeah, it's how I feel.
Oh man, I think like 3 months ago I saw recent pictures of my city and I couldn't recognize it.
Deteriorated that
what?
much?
Hmm?
Deteriorated that much?
Yep. There's not even the public plants survive.
They have Aruba just north of you there, and Carousel. Which, by the way, Carousel is the name of the movie that was George C. Scott's last movie. Carousel.
I didn't know that.
Aruba. Now, is Aruba under communist control too?
I don't think so.
You ever been there?
Oh man, I haven't. Mildred has.
Have you been to Caracas?
Oh yeah, I lived in Caracas.
What'd you think of it? What was it like?
Well, I don't like it. To me, it's hell.
I
I'm
heard
not
there's a lot
big
of
city
crime
guy.
there. I heard there's a lot of crime there.
Dude, you have no idea.
My buddy who's from from give me a minute. No, not Argentina. Where's he from? He's Brazil. He's from Brazil, and he was in one of the major cities in Brazil, Sao Paulo, and said that the crime rate there is insane.
That's where my grandma grew up.
That if you own a house, you have metal gates on around the house and on all your doors and windows.
Well, Brazil got better because the pacification program. That is the police in Brazil is military police, and they have they form a special group, the BOPE, the Brigada de Operações Especiais, which means the Special Operation Brigades, and they're like commandos, and they went into the favelas, guns blazing, man. That was harsh, but it was needed. That pacified a little the crime waves in Brazil, but in Venezuela, let me tell you this: 20 years ago, when things weren't that bad, being the operative part, the government banned the media for releasing the number of people that gets killed by homicide only in Caracas in the weekends. That was because that number surpassed the 200 per weekend.
That's amazing. I just looked at this and I realized that in 1992, I was 600 miles from you.
Oh, you were in
Honduras.
in the jungles.
Yeah, I was in Tegucigalpa, right outside Tegucigalpa is where we started, and then we worked our way It was an American crew building a highway, and we were there to basically make sure they're safe. We're the temporary guys. It's temporary duty. We were sent in to give some other guys a break, and then when they were ready to come back, we went back home.
So you were like that guy. Hold until relieved.
Hold until relieved. Hold until relieved. I think that's just so weird that they put that in there. It really is so weird. There are several things in there that really got my attention as being dumb. The sign thing, when John Wayne orders them to pull the sign down to St. Mary Glees, like, why would you fucking just turn it to point the right to what? And then,
whoa, we have 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Red Button's comment at the end. Well, maybe we're the ones who changed. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ, really?
Stupid fucking line, yeah.
It's like that stupid line at the end of Platoon.
Yeah,
we
were the enemy.
We came 10,000 miles to fight the enemy, and the enemy was us. Whatever, fuck off, you cocksucker. And the other one I mentioned, those are bad lines.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's a classic film. Everybody should see it. It's, like I said, it's factual, not accurate. Factual, not accurate. So, but I guess we've reached the end of the show. I want to thank everybody for being here today. I hope you enjoyed a little trivia and history on this film, and enjoyed the commentary and the jokes. I want to thank Bill for producing the show, Martine for being the right side of my brain, John for being John, because John is awesome, and of course, Anima, love of my life, for being here and talking to us about the film and explaining why Germans are so weird. And I don't understand it. Why did they... I don't get it. Why did they say get to the chopper in the movie? It makes no sense. They didn't have helicopters until 45.
Have I seen the movie? I don't think so.
In the show on that, Bill.
Those sons of bitches.
Ma, I'm doing a show.